Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. This dude is my hero. One of 7. The audiobook is 90 minutes long. Tony begins by talking about the day he realized that his dream was like kind of real. Then how he believes he knows who the listener or reader really is, and how this book can help you create your future and make your dreams real. Tony Robbins is just not a bullshitter. It's not his thing. This dude read 700 books in 7 years, obsessively studied the most successful people on the planet in every single field that he possibly could. Who else has pioneered the mainstream of self-help for over 40 years straight? He's like, the power of your decisions is almost as powerful as smashing the like button, in case you haven't already, for the YouTube algorithm, and it helps with SEO and ranking and all this other stuff. And I really appreciate it because so much work goes into making these videos. It's really like so much work goes into making these videos, okay? However, it's definitely greater than the power of your condition. This power is free, by the way. This power is free. It's fucking free. It didn't cost Rosa Parks money. Last time I checked, to not give up her seat to a white person in 1955. Then he tells this amazing story about how Honda, came to life. All the shit that the founder of Honda went through. To have one overnight success, now a company with writing of the book, over 100,000 employees, and now a $138 billion revenue stream every, I think, year. And how that all worked out because of his obsession with one decision. I like that they have 3 quotes at the beginning of each chapter. Alright guys, 1 quote, not really enough. Then he talks about how the reason we do things is either that we are not driven by reality or we are driven by our perceptions of reality. The bottom line is we do things we do because we ultimately want to avoid as much pain and experience as much pleasure as we possibly can. That's all we really need to know about our decisions. The only way to make a change of your decisions is to change what you associate with pain and what you associate with pleasure. If you want a little idea on what to change in terms of that, ideally, the long-term benefits of something, you should associate more with pleasure and keep those more in mind when you're trying to talk yourself into working out or losing weight and just eating healthier or trying to save money. He talks about the mechanics of this that I didn't just talk about, which are a lot more simple than they seem because of the ways that a lot of us tend to self-sabotage and makes things worse when we're not careful. This guy's level of passion for human behavior is it's unreal. It really is. I try to model it myself
in my own way.
In my own way, because I think a lot of people have just kind of it's kind of like Eminem. A lot of rappers throughout the years have just really tried to copy his shit. Tony Robbins has a whole chapter about beliefs and another chapter on how to use things, all of these things, to get leverage on yourself and create lasting change. In the part about pattern disruption, this part stood out. Close your eyes, see something that's bothering you, run it backwards as fast as you can, change the image, change the colors, change the sounds, at least a dozen times. You will discover that if you do it effectively, you have easily broken the pattern. So now, when you try to think of that situation, it's virtually impossible to get back those negative feelings. It's the equivalent of taking a record and scratching the needle back and forth and back and forth. It'll never play the same way again. This technique works on things that have been bothering you for years. This, in my experience, is an amazing way to exercise your imagination. If you especially don't consider yourself a very creative person, I highly recommend trying this. If you do consider yourself a creative person,
like me, I consider myself a creative person.
I also highly recommend trying this because you will have a ton of fun. After this, he goes over the 6 definitive steps of how to create a lasting change in your life. He talks about how to set goals when you're so caught up in the fucking everything of everyday life that you're
bro, I can't do this shit, man. I'm drowning in bills. I can't get through a day without smoking 17 packs of cigarettes. I feel horrible about my weight, and it's just...
You're focusing on a lot of things that you don't want, and it's seriously crucial to realize, but this is something that many people will go their entire lives never realizing. It's really hard to realize. You have to hear. I feel like it's something you have to hear enough times from the outside to really internalize and notice for yourself. But it's that if you focus on what's wrong, you're only going to get more of it. Wherever your focus goes, in Tony's words, your energy flows. So what if you focused on what you want instead? What if you focused on
matter in 300 years?
Yes.
Are you giving?
Yes.
Rate your mood 1 to 10.
9.
Rate your day 1 to 10.
10. I'm having a really fucking good day. What if you focused on why you want it? And he also gets into how to make those results really happen. Personally, this really helped me. I don't even think I learned this from Tony. Maybe I did operationally by watching what he does, but not through his tips or anything like that. What I do is I link to my consequences of not achieving what I want to the suffering of other people. And by other people, I mean literally everyone in the world. Not just cancer sufferers, not just bullied kids in middle schools, not just the starving kids in third world countries getting killed every year by mosquitoes, but most importantly, not just the suffering of myself. Because if it were just the suffering of myself, I always just knew it in my gut. From the moment I understood any of this, that it just wouldn't be big enough. I meet people and ask them about their lives, and I always imagine until I find out, like, what are their pains? What are their pleasures? What decisions do they make that help or hurt them? Toward and away from both of those things, how can I influence them with my own actions to make that change and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm? I just don't want to be known for just doing this. Influencing people to make the change, not just the smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm, which you really should do. So I guess actually both. Creating lasting change, immediately is Tony's thing. That's, that's what he does. What I want to be known for is sparking a shift like that on a much more mass consciousness scale. Like billions of people at a time. But you gotta start small. And keeping that in mind, I could talk forever about this, but I have stuff to do, and I know for a fact that you do too. So let's do it. Quotes: whatever challenges you may have in your life presently, they could have been avoided by some better decisions upstream. Give me a lever long enough and a prop, that's what she said, and a prop strong enough, and I can single-handedly move the world. Direction 1. I recommend this book primarily for anyone who's just getting into personal development. This is like a really well-known book. This book and Unlimited Power by the same author. Direction 2. If you like this book, the two that really come to mind are Think and Grow Rich, my favorite book ever by Napoleon Hill, and Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. It's one of the newer ones that's really gaining a ton of traction. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. And also let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know why people don't subscribe at the end of watching all these videos. It really just doesn't make that much sense to me, but maybe I'll find out why in a book. Chances are, whatever that book is, based on the books that I've listened to and reviewed, it's gonna tell me how to fix that as well. But if you've already subscribed and you want to take it up a notch and you want to turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I'll see you then.